Everton. Hello and welcome to Dan's Blue Class Match Reaction, Nottingham Forest. Today I have with me again the one and only Paul. We'll be adding him in. Just get your comments ready. And was just so late, just trying to set up the equipment to all go. Here he is, Paul. How are we doing, Paul?
All good. Thank you very much. How are you?
Yeah, I feel a lot better now. I've given it a day to do the match reaction. I think this leaving it a day and then doing the match reaction later to let things settle in.
I was proper flat yesterday.
Yeah, I felt the same. Well, I spoke to you after the game, and I said to you, didn't I? I said it's good that we're doing it a day later because it allows us to calm down. We don't want to be circus clowns. We would have been frustrated after the game, but now we can gather our thoughts and refocus. And I've tried to put some positive stuff together.
Yes.
I've got a few clips of the goals and stuff, and we'll go through the game, talk about the game, give our thoughts. I feel a little bit professional because I've got a couple of things to put on the screen for us to talk about as we go through the game. So it just helps us with the match analysis. And yeah, should be a good one.
Very good. Sounds good.
So
go on,
starting with the game, how did you feel after? Just tell me how you felt. I
felt flat. I tell you the moment that because I was quite positive. It's quite positive throughout. I thought we were playing really well. I thought we didn't create a great number of clear chances, but we were putting pressure on and everything else. But the moment that turned me a bit flat was when he made the two subs in the last kind of 5-10 minutes. Gray and Iwobi went off after having just created a chance. And then Mope and Davis came on, and it just seemed to take everything out of us, took our pace out of us, took the excitement, I think, out of the crowd. You could almost feel it, really. I certainly felt it. And the game just sort of ran to a...
But they brought on...
Ran to a conclusion then,
They brought on Dennis, AU, and someone else quite decent as well, didn't they? And then our substitutions was not, like you say, our substitutions, if we haven't done it before the subs come on, we're in a bit of trouble, ain't we? And that's the thing. So I'll take you to, we'll do this in like a organised way. So we'll go through the game and hopefully this goes right. I'll take you to the first goal and let's just get this up on the screen for you. The first goal, if all goes to plan. Let's have a look. Should pop up now. There we go. So, hey, here we go. This is the first goal. So we started off. Iwobi puts the cross in, and Onana gets the header back across goal, and then there's a knockdown, a scuffle in the box. And it's a good ball, isn't it, by Iwobi, which we've been asking for. And there's a scuffle in the box, and then all of a sudden, I'll drop it in a minute. What did you think? What did you think of on this goal? Like the penalty. I'll drop the next one now. I'll remove it.
You kind of look at their positions there. We were good. Decore was in there. McNeil was coming towards the back end of the area. We had someone else there was in the first. Was it Gray? Was sort of nearest Iwobi. So we had players involved. It was just sod's law that the ball fell behind. And possibly.
We are still getting a bit of feedback. That's why we was a bit late. Was trying to sort his microphone out, which we're very close to doing his internet to stop it from going croaky. I'll let him back in a second. Let Paul back in. Yeah, we're just sorting his mic. Once we get it done, we're set up and we can go all guns blazing because we've got loads of good tools and ideas to really play around with this. and I'll have the backgrounds on it as well soon. So this is the penalty. It just went a bit crackly, so if it does that, I'll put you out and back in so it can refocus, because we're just sorting your stuff out, ain't we? And this was the penalty that I've put up now. It was a penalty, wasn't it? Clear penalty. In the comments, what do you think? Was it a penalty?
Yeah, dead on. I mean, that's Shelby all over the way. And
we're having a pure crackle nightmare, Paul.
Souness saying that McNeil dived. Definite penalty, though. Definite penalty.
Yeah, he didn't get the ball. He 100% got him. And then we spoke about it before. I don't know if you was thinking this in the comments. We're all thinking, who's going to take the penalty? And I did think Damari Gray would take it. I did think he would take it. And cracking penalty, wasn't it, Paul? It was a good penalty. Nice and high. And then we scored this, as I've got it at the time, it was 10 minutes in.
Yeah, when they show the stat beforehand about penalties that he's taken, he's got a fairly decent record. So I was fairly confident that he would put it away, to be fair.
Yeah, I was 100%. And part of me was thinking, this is an early goal. I wasn't expecting this because the game started really feisty. And it looked like a relegation game because Godfrey got carded straight away. He put his stamp. I didn't like Godfrey getting carded straight away. I will point that out because he was against Brennan Johnson. You said it. You called it out. Godfrey against him. You put Godfrey up against him. Yeah. And to get a card so early for a challenge that he didn't really need to make, it put him on the back foot against Brennan Johnson for the rest of the game. And I think it was a bit of a stupid card. But I did like Godfrey going in at him straight away, making his mark to slow him down. But this was a player that you mentioned, Brennan Johnson. And he was a player. He was a bit of a nuisance this game, wasn't he? So we scored this goal 10 minutes in. What was you thinking, Paul, when we scored the goal?
I thought, God, that's early.
I know. I thought the same thing. But
good, as you know, obviously good, and we looked decent. We looked as though we were capable of going forward. We hadn't been, Pickford hadn't been under the cosh at any point in the first 10 minutes. So, it makes you optimistic. It's really frustrating. I've got it on in the background, actually. Gray's penalty at the moment, match of day 2 from last night. Yeah.
I just put the comments up about his penalty. They said it always looks better. It always looks better when they go the opposite way. Which I agree.
I think he wanted to prove a point as well at the celebration.
Yeah, well, he hasn't been playing, has he? So, like you say, he probably just he wants to play and he wants to make his point that he should be playing. And we're all thinking, ain't we, Paul? We're thinking, this is an early goal. This is an early goal. What's this game going to be like? And I thought we was doing well. We had a lot of the ball. We looked confident. Yeah. They didn't look like scoring. And we said in the match preview, you can't make mistakes and stuff. And then all of a sudden, I'll drop the clip of what happens on this. I was frustrated that it was so early as well. I don't know what you think. It was too early for me to let them score back and too easy as well. I'll put it up again.
Yeah. It's actually just happened there as well. One of the things that I noticed was it's one of the downsides of having a player who's mainly a central defender playing at a full-back position, because they get sucked in. Their natural position is to be in the middle of the goal, isn't it? So Godfrey would have been alongside Johnson when that shot came in from Gibbs-White, and Pickford saved it. If his natural position was to be a left-back, it would have been alongside Johnson. But actually, just looking at it, he's just sucked in. He's about 2 yards away from Tarkowski when the shot actually comes in. So that when Pickford actually has parried it out to the left-hand side, Johnson's just there to fit in. So if you look at 22, where Godfrey is in the centre, Gibbs White's going to have his shot, but then no one's on Brennan. And the ball had come from the right-hand side as well. So Godfrey had been sucked in a little bit to his natural position. If you have the likes of Mikalenko or, Baines back in the day, their natural position would have been left side. I know, because I've played that position for years, to be fair. And you just always have an eye whoever's playing right wing for them.
But I'm looking at this, and I've tried to put little pictures on, but I put them as videos just so you can hold them on for a bit. But I just thought it's easier because we talk about stuff, and it's easier to put it on the screen and visualize it and talk about it. And Gibbs White, he plays a 1-2, which completely breaks the gap between our midfield. So as he receives the ball from the 1-2, he's in this position now, but he's played a 1-2 and he's got him past our centre midfielders. And it's got him in that gap that you don't like, in between the centre midfielders and the defenders. And he's in that position now to get the shot away. Now, I think this is a bit easy what he's done, 1-2, and to have a shot that open when we're playing with 3 centre midfielders. But then I look at here, if you look at where part of me thinks, first of all, I think Godfrey shouldn't be over there. I think Godfrey should be marking Brennan Johnson now, because Brennan Johnson was the player that he was marking. And I think as a left back, I've got to say Godfrey should be over here, because otherwise he's putting 2 players when either, I don't know who that is, they're Keane or Tarkowski, have already covered that player there. So Godfrey's drawn in. You've got 2 players on 1.
Yeah, it's Tarkowski, yeah.
Yeah, Tarkowski. So you've got, it's bad defending because Godfrey's got drawn in. And then sometimes, obviously, when a player makes a mistake, like I think Godfrey has here, you hope that someone can save him. And McNeil obviously isn't goal side. What do you think on the Pickford? Like, I think he could have palmed it away a bit more.
He'd probably be a little bit disappointed. He's palmed it to his left-hand side. In hindsight, he would palm it out for a corner, if you like, but it's split-second thinking, isn't it, I suppose? On another one, he might look at it and be a bit annoyed that it didn't go further away from the goal, to be fair. But I wouldn't blame Pickford for the goal, really.
What did I say? What was it that I put up that we scored in 10 minutes? And then this is in 18 minutes. So in 8 minutes, we've gave away that lead that we spoke about in the pre-match, Paul. We said it's so important. And everything, Everton said it in the comments. The Blues said it. It's so important to get the lead. The first goal is so vital. And we get that first goal. Yes, it's early, but to let him through our midfield and defence, Morgan Gibbs White, so easy and get the shot away, I don't like. But then to not pick up the runners, because I'm sure Brennan Johnson's goal the last time we played him was a tap-in as well, a run-in off the keeper. So to not pick up the runners running in and not be goal side, I would like for us to have made it harder for them to have scored. I just think this is way too easy, and it's another mistake from us.
Yeah, well, actually, just a moment before they got to that situation, I'm just looking at it here, because Forest, it wasn't a breakaway or anything. Forest had the ball in there on the halfway line, and we were all in our positions. But what had happened was 10's Gibbs White in it, I think. So what he's done, he's been next to Tarkowski. He's then come in deeper. He's gone closer to the ball, about 10, 15 yards, and asked for the ball. So it was ginger-haired guy for them, can't remember, Colback. Colback's played the ball into the middle of our half, and Gibbs White has had time to turn around, and then from there they've got 1-2s and created the chance where you can see now. So really what's happened there is a couple of things. We haven't moved over the pitch quick enough for Onana and Gay. Tarkowski let him go 15 yards, get the ball and turn. And that's where it's really frustrating. So, I'm not Tarkowski, Keane.
Yeah, Keane.
Someone said Gibbs White.
Yeah, he said that in the comments.
Yeah, and someone else could have done that. But that's why when we're in that position that we can see there, Keane is actually 3 or 4 yards behind Gibbs White when he shoots. So it's that ball being played into the middle of our half. Well, we've not picked it up. Now, you could say Keane should be tighter on that. You could say midfielders should have moved over when the ball moved over. But just collectively, defensively, we've switched off. And that was so frustrating.
They didn't have. This was like a chance out the blue as well. We looked like we had them completely under control. Even at 1-0, we was a lot on the ball. We was having a lot of chances, and we was looking decent. I thought even at 1-0. Normally we sit back and we crumble, but I thought, you know what, we're actually looking all right, and I was really happy with the way we was playing. Yeah. I was really happy, and then obviously we just let them back in so easy. Then I wasn't happy with that, to let them back in that early, that space of time. And then me and you had this debate, and I don't know what you think in the comments. Drop your comment. Coleman got in their box, and I know Sean Dyche wasn't happy about it. And he got in the box and he did the play. He was in front of the player. He's in control of the ball. The player behind him, as Coleman's gone to freaking get the cross in, the player's caught his leg before he's caught the ball and stopped Coleman's motion and putting it in. And Sean Dyche said in the interview after, if that's not a penalty, what is a penalty? And I was thinking, that should have been a penalty. That should have made us 2-1. Like, it should have been another penalty. I know you said to me, Paul, you don't get 2 penalties. You just don't.
It's I've just got it here now. Very unlikely. I tell you what.
It was though, wasn't it? It was a penalty.
I do for a fact believe that if it was the other way around and that had been a Forest player in this exact same situation, I do think it would have been given.
Well, Sean Dyche said if as a defender, Sean Dyche said, I was a defender. As a defender, I know if you go in for that ball and you make contact with the player before you get contact with the ball, it's going to be a penalty. And he made contact with Coleman before he got the ball. If he just got the ball, you can say fair enough, he won the ball. But the fact he got Coleman before he got the ball, I do think it was a penalty. But because it had already been won, I think that's in the referee's mind. And I think that stops him from giving, because he thinks I'm not going to give 2. But I do think it was a penalty. And then I'm thinking to myself, right, that could be us a bit buggered when you miss out on something like that. But yeah, we carried on playing well. And we still looked good after that, didn't we, Paul?
I thought when they got the equaliser, we had a fair bit of pressure on us then, because they got their tails up. And if it was, say, for the next 15, 20 minutes, it seemed to be us holding on a touch, to be fair. We did ride that. We did ride it. Got a little bit lucky on a couple of occasions and that, just because they couldn't finish a chance or finish a cross. But I think it's just frustrating.
You do always. It is. I definitely think that was a penalty on that Coleman one. But you do think to yourself, like, when you concede a goal and they say you're 1-0 up, they score to make it 1-1. I always say the team that's come back to draw has got the momentum. So they had the momentum then because they've just scored. They're bringing it back. They're playing better because they've just scored. And they had the momentum. But I generally felt like we dealt with it well. Like you said, they had a patch where they was good. But then all of a sudden, I'll drop it on now, we managed to do this and score a goal again, which we all said, where's the goals going to come from? We managed to score this goal. And I have been saying Doucouré to score. I'm sure you in the comments will know. I've been saying Doucouré's going to score, and midfielder's going to score, and Nana's going to score. And here we go. Here's the goal.
I mean, look at that straight away. I know we're sort of going off. Are we going off a set piece? I'm just thinking now.
I think it's a goal kick into a set piece.
Oh no! So it's a free kick. It's where McNeil's fouled in the centre circle. God, I tell you what,
it's free kick, yeah.
Johnson and Gibbs White, they're proper petulant little kids, aren't they?
Oh, they was up for it though. They were shitbags. They gave it us back because I thought we was really aggressive.
Yeah.
And I thought when Godfrey crunched him, I thought he'd come off, but he gave it back. And I don't like to big other players up, but fair play to Brennan Johnson and the other lad. I don't like them, but they stood the ground, didn't they, for young kids? They gave it back, and they was really nasty as well. I know Morgan Gibbs-White picked up a lot of yellow cards. I
think 7 at one point. I don't know if it got more than that. Pickford takes a free kick from the centre circle, lobs it over towards the far side. All of our set pieces seem to be going over to the far side now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed that. And then it gets, actually looks like Coleman heads it back across. Oh no, is it actually Tarkowski heads it back across? Then Keane nods it over, and then it's Decore who bundles it in.
Yeah, it's one of those Keane in the box like that Crystal Palace game, and he gets a good flick on. I think it's Coleman first, then Keane, and then Decore running into the box. I said to you, didn't I, Paul, in the pre-match? I says with Onana and Decore have got to get close to the strikers. They've got to come in the box because everyone said everything. Everton's just said we scored 2. And I said, if we're going to score, they've got to get in the box. Decore and Onana have got to get in the box, the big players. And fair play, Decore, onside, got in the box, scored a header, and looked very happy to score, didn't he?
Yeah, and you can tell just like the clips on what Decore always right.
Was doing well then. It's gone a bit thingy, the voice on it again.
It's the head. Then Decore or Onana are.
Yes. Sorry, it went a bit crackly then again.
So 2-1 again. 2-1 again then. Sorry. 2-1 again then. I was just... You're confident then. And the longer it goes on, you think we've got a bloody good chance here of getting away with 3 points.
Well, I was happy with this because I thought this is the time that I don't mind going that half time going in ahead. You've just got to come out second half. But I did message you when I said it's a game of 2 halves. I always do. I don't get carried away. I thought we played really well first half. I thought Decore, I said to you, was the man of the match first half. He looked to drive forward. He looked to pass forward.
He had the stats, didn't he? As they do, and he was first on all the ones that they chose.
Yeah.
And actually, there was a chance. Where we break away from one of their set pieces, actually, and the ball goes down the left-hand side, and Decore's there on left wing, and he does a little sort of body movement to get to the byline, plays it across, and it's the one where Gray side foots it from the back post. Perhaps maybe he should have put his bloody foot through it, but that was another chance, and again, Decore's involved.
Yeah, he's definitely changing. I think he said in the interview after, I listened to his interview after, and he said the manager's paid... he's shown him confidence in playing him, and he wants to pay him respect and try and show it back. Now, I like I say, Decore, I thought was absolutely booming first half, but we all said, and I'm sure you in the comments will know from Everton the Blues, Paul, we all said, don't make a mistake. And the problem is, we're playing well. We do look like we can get another goal. We look like we can make it 3-1. And I thought before I come on this channel, like what I want to say and stuff. This is the thing. And listen to this. If you sit back to defend it, because sometimes you say we should have sat back and defended it out better. If you sit back, you invite pressure and you make it easy for them to score. And you sometimes say, we shouldn't have sat back. If they do score, you say, we shouldn't have sat back. We invited pressure. We should have gone out to get the third goal and make it 3-1. That's what you say, don't you? If it happens when you sit back. So what have we done? We've gone out to get the third goal. That's what we've done. And I wanted us to, but we looked like we could get the third goal. But then all of a sudden, when we tried to get the third goal, we're keeping it 2-1 for quite a while. And I'll drop it now. When we try and get the third goal, this happens, and the player that I said was playing amazing. Of course, he can't have a full perfect game. He loses the ball in this position.
Yeah,
and it's just it's cliche, isn't it? We've seen Garner Gay lose the ball in that position. We've seen Iwobi lose the ball in that position. It always ends up in the back of the net if you lose it in that position.
You can get away with losing the ball in the attacking third. You know, I'd never ever go at anyone for trying to take someone on in the attacking third or trying to get a cross that doesn't pay off and you lose the ball, it breaks down. That's fine. That's where the attacking third, it might well happen. And I thought actually our defensive line was decent. I think we always defended our own half. I don't think we sat back particularly on the edge of the area. I thought the shape was good. Again, it's just a stupid mistake that leads to the goal.
No, we had real good control. Dwight Mail had that shot tipped over the bar. Tamari Gray was getting in good positions. Coleman was getting... We looked really... I'm not even joking. I was really happy because sometimes you've got to keep your head screwed on and think to yourself, was we doing this under Lampard? We wasn't. We're getting ourselves in all the right positions. And Sean Dyche said, if you do that, eventually goals will come. And 2 goals have come through us getting in the box and causing them to foul us in the box to get a penalty. And then another goal was come through, obviously, the Doucouré goal, Doucouré getting in the box, and we was getting in some cracking positions. I thought we could have scored. We could have scored a few. And then just, if you look now, Sean Dyche said in the interview, Paul, he said, this is the difference. If Doucouré makes that pass right, we've got a 3-on-2.
Yeah, well, it's actually his initial... it's almost his initial position there, because what's happened is it's come from a free kick that they had on our right-hand side, their left, and it's curled in. Keane's headed it out. It's then sort of bobbled around. Onana's got a touch on it, and then Gana Gay's passed it into Doucouré. And Doucouré's first touch is so close to him. Do you know what I mean? He's not sort of thought about touching out to his right-hand side and then immediately passing. He was almost not thinking about what he was going to do next. So it limited what he could do. And then he's got a defender straight on him. So it's just ballsed up completely. It couldn't have gone more worse.
No. Well, I just read the comment now. The Blues said the ball was on for Gray. I don't know why he's trying to squeeze it through a player, and I agree with him. It was he tried to play the hard pass instead of playing it simple. And sometimes you don't try and go tight. You try and go further away from where it can be cut out. You kind of overhit it to make sure that they can't intercept it. You play the pass as safe as you can play it. You'll know that as well, Paul. Being a footballer, you just like keep it away from that player intercepting it.
Yeah.
And another comment here as well, everything Everton he's just said now on this. I'm trying to put the clips, but I think it's more interesting because we can talk about the match properly and break it down, and it's just a lot more professional. He's just put a comment here. As soon as he caught that pass up, I knew there was... Yes, I did as well. Yeah, it always happens. It's so hard to score a goal, Paul. It's so hard to score a goal. But why does every time we make a mistake, we pay for it? Why do they find it so easy to score when we make a mistake? I mean, that doesn't happen for us, does it?
We don't react quick enough.
No.
We shoot ourselves in the foot, and if we've got a chance to react quick enough, we don't seem to. I mean, even from Doucouré losing it, Johnson has done a 1-2 with whoever's come on. I don't think it's Colback. It might have been one of the other lads who came on. And then all of our four defenders have run into the area. They're in a line alongside the penalty spot. And then it's pulled back, and that's when Johnson has his chance. So
I like this because you go to talk about something. This shows how organised they am today, because there you go. There it is.
Yeah. So where Johnson is there, he's going to play to the player we see on our left-hand side for Forest. And then the 4 lads go back right into the area in line with the penalty spot, which seemed to be like an automatic response. But Johnson's clever. He's just sat off on the edge of the area. So when your guy on the left-hand side plays it back to Johnson, there's no backlift or anything. To be fair to Johnson, it's a hell of a shot because he doesn't have to hit it hard. It's just direction.
It's a cracking shot. And I don't like to say things are good for an opposite team, but I have to be realistic and honest, and it was a cracking shot. Pickford had no chance on this one.
No,
and I think it was Yates, and he's dragged it back, Anti, and like you say, Yates has dragged it back, and I can remember the commentators in my head. Yates has cut it back, and Brennan Johnson's done that thing that you've said. He's sat in the position, nice space, no one around him, and when he gets it, you can see the spaces in there. It shows you he's got it, but it's still not an easy finish. But he nails the shot, and that's the difference. I mean, we had that Gray chance at 2-1 where Gray just hit it straight away, panic hit, and he hit it, and it hit one of their players. But if he had the composure of Brennan Johnson here and hit it as well as Brennan Johnson did, we probably would have been 3-1 up with that Gray chance. And I'm not slating Gray for the loss. I'm just saying they didn't have many chances. This is probably 2 of the best chances they had. They didn't have much more chances than this. I honestly feel I said to you, Paul, I felt like we got robbed a little bit because I felt like we had them massively under control. And
well, we kind of killed the game at 2-1. We killed the game. I didn't feel there was an awful lot of anything going on, to be fair, and it just felt it was controlled. We kept the ball quite well on the right hand side, little triangles and everything else. But then a silly mistake like that, and suddenly they get the tails up. Then there's another shot that I've just seen where Pickford again palms it off to his left hand side, and Johnson for some reason slides on his front as though he's got.
I remember saying to my partner, Johnson could have got a hat trick.
I don't know why he just didn't slide with his feet. To be fair, so that was a let off for that.
He was cracking, and I said to you before the game, I said we was linked with him 20 million, but we didn't end up coughing up the money. I don't know our financial situation, but he was absolutely insane, wasn't he? He was cracking.
Yeah.
Up against Godfrey, and he absolutely did him. And someone commented earlier on, Paul, about Godfrey. What do you think on this? Godfrey's positional sense, I think that's what he struggles with.
I think, in like I was saying before, in terms of left back, I think he got sucked in a couple of times. But I mean, looking at some of these Forest crosses that are going in the second half towards the end, Godfrey's the main man who's getting the ball away. To be fair, so.
But the big problem is I'm not even going to look at the game after the subs come on, because after the subs come on, we went shite. Sean Dyche is having to pull the miracle off. They brought 3 good subs on that can impact the game. We've not brought our subs are not like for like. So when Mopé comes on for Gray, you've lost your speed and you don't look as good. And when Davis comes on, he just doesn't do it like the other players are doing it on the pitch. Your performance goes down, not up, and your subs are meant to add energy levels. And as soon as those subs come on, I just wanted it to be 2-2. And I felt like we could have won the game, and I was gutted we didn't win it, and we should have kept it 2-1 or even made it 3-1. But I just felt like as soon as they come on, I thought, just get the draw now. We've had a chance. It hasn't been our day. Yeah. Just get the point, because for a fact, Paul, we've been in that situation before where they end up beating us when they get the next goal 2-2.
Well, that's been the thing, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, it just turned us flat. And like you're saying, we haven't always got like for like. To be fair, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Mopé anyway, but I don't think there's enough mobility in Mopé, even to keep the ball. I know you could tell he was told by Sean to go on and just run his legs off for 5 minutes, because that was basically what was left. But if you're gonna do that, then surely you would.
I thought Gray was fantastic, by the way, and I know you've been shouting for him to play, and I said no to up front, and then the pre-match I said yes, let's just do it, let's just play him up front because he's got the counter-attack speed. And I thought he was phenomenal. I thought he worked hard. He put a lot of graft in to close players down. He looked good on the ball. He holded it up. He was stronger than what you think. And I thought Gray had a cracking game, and he showed hunger. Like you said, when he scored, he looked like he wants to earn his position. He looks like he wants to fight in this relegation battle. So it was a massive positive, Gray playing up front. And I thought Gray played really well.
Well, he's all about mobility and pace, isn't he?
Yeah.
So you've got, especially if you're the only man up front, you've got to work hard across the line. You can't.
On what you just said, this comment goes to what you just said. Godfrey had a really bad first half, but his defensive second half. Yeah, he did make some clearance headers, like you just said, and he did the basics right at the end.
You can tell, particularly the back line have been. You can tell how they've been drilled, because how many times did we see the ball with Godfrey or with Pickford and leaning towards that left-hand side, and then targeting whether it was their right back or whoever. The ball was often curled down the channel, wasn't it, for our left? And you can see we're being a bit more direct, and we're trying to win 1 or 2 headers, and I think that's why the midfield lads are playing further forward as well to win those headers. But you're not going to win headers with. I'm not the tallest, but I must be taller than bloody Mopé. because I haven't seen him win one header, to be fair. Gray won a few. It was one of
Well, I do think the way we're playing, and I've noticed this, we are having little patches of passing. We are getting Coleman on the ball. We are getting our wingers on the ball. And our centre midfielders, Garner Gay's getting it down a little bit. And I'm not saying we're a good passing team, but we are getting the ball down enough to not always play the long ball to a big centre forward. We're actually getting the ball in their box in good positions and sometimes lofting it, but sometimes passing it in nice ways. And I want to point this out because I haven't been on Twitter because I haven't got it back yet, but I'm not bothered that I haven't because I'm happy because I bet there's some toxic Everton fans out there. I bet it's like a war zone because don't get overstressed. I mean, I've just seen the comment now and it's true. And this is what I wanted to put out on my channel is that this is what I want this to be. I've got a lot of trolls, but I want this to be a positive Everton fan channel. And I don't want people to get stressed and give people shit because what he's put is true. Remember, Forest are unbeaten at home for the last... And it's true stat. And you said how good Forest was, didn't you, Paul? And the fact that we've gone and got the lead against them once, got the lead against them twice, should have won. I feel like we was the better team. Is massively positive, isn't it? I don't think we should get too negative about that. It's gutting we didn't pick up the 3 points. But the performance, I thought, was really good. A lot of chances, 2 goals, and just 2 mistakes on defending. But I think we should stay positive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everything Everton's right. When we were doing our preview, we were mentioning. I was kind of putting you off a little bit. One of I said how good Forest's home record was.
Yeah.
Unbeaten in 9 now at home. Having played Chelsea, City, and Liverpool. So, you kind of look at it in that respect, and you look at the stats as well. Everything was pretty level. Possession and shots were fairly level as well. I think we had more dangerous attacks, or whatever that means, dangerous attacks, than they did. But across the board, it seemed to be a fairly 2-2 kind of game, to be fair. So you come away from it hoping that we would have got the 3 points, but again, we didn't lose. So you've got to try and take some positives out of it.
Yeah, well, they could have got if we did lose, and like we said, it was a very hard game where a lot of said we probably would have lost. They've signed a lot more players than us, but we still managed not signing so many players to go ahead to us and look the better team. So you've got to take positives from that. But I'm going to pop the league up now because that's about what we want to say on the game, isn't it? We've kind of gone through it all.
I think, I don't think anyone particularly had a bad game. I don't think anyone stood out as playing particularly badly, to be fair. I mean, Davis, this is more Twitter than anything really. Davis came on for the total of 6-7 minutes, and I know he's getting quite a bit of abuse for just coming on, kicking a couple of people, getting booked, and then going home then. But as a collective, I think everyone did their jobs generally, and bar the odd mistake, again, as usual, I thought we played really well.
He just said when you read the stats that he was scared as well. So that's it was scary, and I just think the way we played wasn't bad. I thought our performance was good, and some people will take it over the top because they're so frustrated about our situation. And I will say this because I always like to put stuff out there. Just because you've peed off about Everton, don't go and take it out on other Everton fans. It's not the fans' fault that the board and the owner have run the club so shit that we haven't got loads of players, strength in depth, and that Sean Dyche is playing with a hard hand. He hasn't got a lot of subs on the bench. He hasn't got a lot of quality players, but he's doing well with what he's got. So I just think don't take it out on other Everton fans. Some people are just too toxic for me, Paul. I don't want it. I think just focus.
Emotion. Everyone's got a different level of emotions, haven't they? Particularly when it comes to Everton, and some people are more invested than others, and some people have got more reactionary characteristics than others as well. I mean, me and you are fairly calm and sort of objective to a degree, and some people are generally not calm people and are very objective, and they won't hear anything other than.
I get really, really angry when we lose, but I don't go and slate someone. I don't go and take it out on someone and personally insult someone. I'm just like, oh, Everton, we could have done that. That's how I get. We had it. We did everything. We had it. That's how I was after the game. I was like, oh, and then I was so frustrated. But then the way I am, I think, right, didn't go our way. More games, focus. Look at the next game, focus. Because I think I am Everton. That's the way I am. I think, right, focus. We've got to stay up. It's like a fight, isn't it? And it's not one fight. It's loads of games. So you've got to get on to the next game. You can't dwell on it.
Everyone's affected by it, just in slightly different ways. But my missus and daughter will straight away know if we've had a bad result. Just give me a wide berth,
Well, I did have a bet on it as well. I had a bet on it, and all I needed was a Tarkowski header on target, and I didn't get it. And I did. My bet was I did Godfrey to get carded, McNeil to have a shot on target, Gray to have a shot on target, and then I thought Tarkowski would have a shot on target, and he didn't. So he let me down, and I was at the end. I was like, "Tarkowski have a header," but I'm not betting on Everton again because I just want to focus on the game. I've got this now.
I never do. I can't do it.
No, I'm not doing it again. Bugger off. I'm not betting on my own team. If I never betted on Everton ever, I'd be a millionaire.
And Everton would be in the Champions League, mate. Let's
have a look. I showed you this the other day, didn't I? Drop this on the screen. I want to keep you lot positive. I've got a good little bunch of Everton fans. I don't care if it's 5 Everton fans. I don't care if it's 50. If you want to come and join us and stay positive and just be grown up about things and nice and chilled, then that's fine. I showed you this, didn't I? This is the league table. I mean, it's a bit blurry because I've had to put it all together quick for you. But this is the league table. And I have to keep pressing play on it. But yeah, this is the league table. And what do you think?
A bit bloody tight, isn't it?
See, this is where I'm going to make Everton fans feel better. I do think. Sorry, I was just going to say I do think it's tight, but I put this here to make Everton fans feel better. I hate having this game in hand. I said to you, it's like having the first penalty in a World Cup where if you get it wrong, you're in the shit, and you've got to rely on other things. Yeah. And that's what's happened with us now. Is we've lost that game now when they've all got that game. So it's out of our hands, isn't it?
No, Dan, we didn't lose. No,
we drew. Game. We drew. I say we lost because we should have won. we drew that game. I said if we should have won, it's a loss in my head. But yeah, I know what you mean. But the positive is, if you look at that, and Forest would have beat us, they would have been further away. They're still in the relegation battle now because we got the draw. So that's the positive thing about drawing. That's one positive. But like I say, you look at this table now and you think, right, these have all got a game in hand. The good thing is, and the positive thing I want to put out there is their game in hand, Bournemouth at the bottom is Liverpool. I generally feel Liverpool can beat Bournemouth. Southampton have got Man United. Man United at home. Now, Man United, I know they had the worst result ever, but I generally feel they'll bounce back against Southampton. Although Southampton played well last game and won 1-0, I watched it. I didn't think it was that good. So I think Man United could beat Southampton at home. So these are all teams that are at the bottom with us that might not pick up points. We've got Brentford, obviously, and we're going to beat them. Don't worry about that. We'll talk about that in the preview, Paul. West Ham have got Aston Villa. Aston Villa could beat West Ham. West Ham have got Europa League, haven't they, as well, Paul?
They have, yeah. They're hoping that'll lift spirits, but they're not happy with old Moisey. But they're fickle as well because they beat Forest 4-0 at home.
Leeds have got Brighton.
And then they'll lose 4-0 away against Brighton, so they're not going to be happy, whatever, are they?
No, they are. And West Ham, they was poor against Brighton. And Brighton was really good as well. So I'm not sure if West Ham was poor, Brighton was insane, but Brighton was incredible. And Brighton have got who have they got? They've got Leeds at home, so that'll be a good game. We'd like Brighton to win that.
Oh God, without a doubt, without a doubt.
Leicester and Chelsea.
The game the other night. Actually, it was Saturday. Was it Saturday night? It was what we wanted from Southampton and Leicester, because I thought, oh well, if Leicester win, then that'll just mean that Southampton are almost like cemented down there at the bottom. But then the positive in that respect is that they've kept Leicester, well, now only 2 points above us. So
Leicester
it can play in. The more teams involved in it, the better chance. Surely,
Leicester have got Leicester have got Chelsea there, and Chelsea haven't been playing that well. Leicester at home, yes, but you'd say Chelsea have got a good chance of winning that game as well.
Honestly, it could be anything. It could be anything. I mean, West Ham Villa, you don't know. Don't know what Villa's side.
I do feel like, Paul, I honestly feel like all the top teams could win here, and the teams all around us at the bottom that we're hoping don't win might not win. I think these fixtures are quite good. I think you look at Tottenham at home against Nottingham Forest, they might beat them. So all the teams around us at the bottom of the table here might not pick up points. And you shouldn't be wishing on other results, but I do feel we've got to cross our fingers and hope that the results here in front of us go our way.
Yeah, everyone's going to need, everyone's going to need help of other people, without a doubt. But at least if we can, get our 1 in 3, 2 in 5 wins, that we need, then you'd imagine that we will be all right, because obviously you can't imagine all of the other 6, 7 sides all going on a run of winning games.
I don't think many of those teams around us at the bottom will pick up points in the next game. And I think we've got to make sure, we'll talk about this in the preview of the next game, but I think we've got to make sure we beat Brentford. I'm not saying we're going down if we don't, but I think if we can pick up points there, it gives us back with a game in hand, getting points in that game in hand and actually using it wisely and scoring that first penalty, as I say. Do you know what I mean? To put the pressure on them a little bit. I think it can change if they don't get the results.
Well, I mean, Brentford currently beating Fulham 2-1 at Brentford at the moment. So you kind of hope that they're as inconsistent as many teams sort of in their position in the league at the moment, that they can beat Fulham tonight and lose against us on Saturday.
Yeah, well, you know how it goes. If they lost tonight, they'd be up for us and we'd be in a bit of trouble. Where if they win tonight, they'll probably be on a high, relax a little bit, and then we can spank them.
I mean, and you look at sort of, I'm not going to go into too much, but like you're saying, Saturday's huge because Brentford at home, Chelsea away, Spurs at home, United away. Now, out of those 4 games, we beat Brentford, we lose away against Chelsea, we lose away against United. You'd hope that we would get something against Spurs, which obviously is not easy, but that's what other sides around us have been doing. So 4 games from the next 4, 4 points from the next 4 games doesn't sound great, but it's maybe what is hopefully, or well, what is expected, maybe,
We put ourselves in a bad situation, and you can't just expect things to change and everything being fine and dandy and Everton smash it home, smash it away, pick up every point possible and stay up. We're in this position for a reason. We're not going to play well all the time. Now, the way we're playing, we are playing better. We are creating more chances. We are defending better. I mean, we're defending good most of the game. It's just 1 or 2 switch-offs. So close, just 1 or 2 switch-offs. And we pay for it, where sometimes you wouldn't pay for it. But we are defending well most of the game. Balls coming in the box. I watched West Ham, that game against Brighton, and they was awful. They look like a team that are going down if they don't change. West Ham was awful. And the balls in the box, they couldn't defend set pieces or anything. And I thought, you know what? We're not that bad compared to them, the way they've played.
Yeah.
And it made me a lot more confident because it's not just us struggling at the bottom. So we've got to stay confident. And this is a good comment here. I don't understand to just focus on ourselves. Logic is, when it's not in our hands, we literally need them to be. And I agree with this because obviously you want the other team to do really bad, because if they do bad, it's going to make your job easier.
Of course.
If they start winning all the time, you've got to be top scratch to stay up. If the other teams are doing bad as well.
West Ham's next few games, they've got, who have they got? Obviously, they've got Villa next, which is the sandwich in their Europa Conference League games. in the playoffs, so they obviously need to be focusing on that. You've then got Southampton at home. I mean, with so many sides down there and it being so tight, you are going to have quite a few people who are going to play each other, and you'd imagine you want draws. You want everyone still down there, don't you? But then after that, they've got Newcastle, they've got Fulham away, they've got Arsenal. They've got to go away to Bournemouth and have another scrap. Then they've got Liverpool as well. So, yeah, it's not. There's some sides who have got. I don't think anyone's got a really solid run in. I think everyone's got a good old mix, and it's getting those 2 wins in a row, isn't it? That's what can.
Your Wi-Fi was doing really well then. It hasn't blurred for ages. I'll just read this out until it comes back on. It will come back on, level itself out. The form table since Daesh took over. You sent me a picture of this, didn't you, from Twitter, saying since Daesh come in, it was a table of the form, and we're in like top 8 or something like that of the form since Daesh has come in. This is where you want to say something you can't now because it's blurred. I'll put you back out and then put you back in. Yeah, you was literally saying the same thing as what you've just commented. The Blues, Daesh's form is really good. You can't expect too much from him. He was doing really well. And, I do think he's doing well. Let's drop your other comment on. I know the derby was disappointing, but that was the derby. We just didn't turn up, did we? But I generally feel like every other game we are doing all right and we are playing better.
Yeah.
Paul,
I was going to say that little form table where we're 13th, if you like, since Deitch came in. The teams who are below us: Chelsea, Newcastle, but more importantly, Southampton, Forest, Bournemouth, Palace, and Leeds. So, there are teams that are in a slump. I think there was another one that I saw, which was the number of wins that these teams have had in the last 12, 13 games, and so many of them have got very similar records to what we had before Deitch came in, but they've got it now.
Well, I feel like some of those teams at the bottom, and we've been like it before, when you've got like your owner or your board pushing players to be in your team, and you don't realise where you're at. Some teams don't accept where they're at, and they're still trying to be something. Where I feel Sean Dyche has come in, and he knows he's got these right now, and he knows exactly where they're at, and he's got them in the positions, and he's just looking for improvement every game, and he's building something solid that's improving every game, and that will make us hard to beat. And eventually, you can see it last game, finding us the goals that we haven't been getting. So I feel like we've got a good chance of staying up. It's not going to be easy, though. It's not going to be easy, but it's a roller coaster. But if you thought you was on a roller coaster that's going to be a nice one this season after the players that we signed, it's not going to happen. But we did it last season, and we'll do it again, won't we, Paul?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
And if we don't blame me.
I was just looking at the home and away table, if you like, and there's. I mean, obviously, it's going to be very similar to what's down there now, but we're 17th in the home record and we're 16th in the away record, really, which is a bit weird because you would have thought we would be a little bit higher in the actual table. But there's Bournemouth, Leicester, and Southampton who have got worse home records than we have. And you've got Bournemouth, Leeds, West Ham, and Forest who've all got worse records away. Apparently.
Well, what's Dyche since he's come in is 1-2, drew 1, lost 2, hasn't he?
He had Arsenal, he had the derby, he had
trying to work this out now.
Villa, and then he had Forest. Is it just those 4 games? Does he have 4 games?
I was trying to think then. I was trying to think
Feels
what he's
like
done.
He should have had more.
He's done well, though. Like I say, to get 2 wins and a draw out of what he's done with how bad we was when he come in, he's already nearly beating Lampard's stats all season on wins. He's only got to get 1 more win to match Lampard's wins. He's doing well. You just got to stick behind him. Trust the process.
Leeds
win as well, yeah. So that was the fight. So we ain't done that. There you go. He's on it. The Blues gets brownie points for that. We need to give him the trophy. Yeah. So I just think this is why I'm happy we didn't do it straight after, because I feel we'd be frustrated. We wouldn't have our head switched on. And I think this has been a nice talk now. We've looked through things and we've seen that we are creating a lot more chances on some of the clips I've shown. We've still got the mistakes in us, but we need to just cut them out. Yeah. We're performing better. I'm ready for the next game. I've seen Alan Mears. I bet you know him off Twitter, don't you, Alan Mears?
Yeah, Alan Myers.
Yeah, Myers. I say it wrong. I always say everyone's name wrong. Alan Myers. He said he's looking. He said he's looking forward to the next game. He said so, yeah. But he's scared, and that's how I feel. I feel like I want to just get it done. I want to stay up. I want to crack on, and I want to just get it done. And I know it's not going to be easy, but I'm ready for it as a fan to support my team, to stay up and get behind them. And I just want to know what's going to happen. I want to get it done, because I feel if we stay up this season, we've just found out, I don't know, that looks like there's going to be a new 25% owner, doesn't it?
All right. Is this, go on, who's this?
MP or something like that. I'm sure the Blues will show it. Who's the owner? There's an owner that's taken over 25%, and apparently they want to change the board as well. It's M something, American owner. I'm sure it looks like it's nearly done, because I've seen it on one of my Everton news things. So I just think if we can stay up, this for me, the light is there. If we stay up this season, it's not like things are going to be the same. If we stay up this season, the board could be changed. The new stadium's nearly done. The income's going to be better. We might have a good chunk to spend. Now we've sorted FFP out. There's so much light if we stay up, and we've just got to get behind us to stay up, because if we do stay up, I generally believe we might be able to turn our Everton round and get it back on track. But if we go down, it's a nightmare. I hate it when people say, Paul, it's okay to go down and rebuild. If we go down, we are buggered. We need to stay up.
I've never, ever believed that. I've never believed that. Even in the 90s, when we had a couple of close calls, it's just no chance, because you go and say that to a Coventry or a Sheffield Wednesday or a Blackburn or any of those clubs, you say, oh yeah, was it a good job? Was it a good thing that you went down? Because you would have bounced back up again, wouldn't you? No chance.
Some think the rebuild when we go down, but they don't realise we're literally on the line negotiating, because we're very close to breaking all the rules of FFP. And if we went down, we're just saying to them we're going to stay up, and that's keeping us on the line of FFP. If we go down, I don't know, because I'm not the cleverest with all that stuff, but I bet you we get minus points before we even frigging start the frigging season. We cannot go down. We've got to stay up, and we can stay up. We can do it. That's the. I told you the Blues will comment who it is. He's on it. MSP Capital 25%, and they said they'd look to change the board. So, and they're going to pay some towards the stadium as well. The new stadium that help fund that. So, yeah, it's what we asked for, isn't it?
The most positive things are the attitude of the players, Sean Dyche, and the fans. And as long as the fans can do their one job, which is doing everything that the team needs, and supporting the club in the best way, then that's all we can do. And then Sean and the lads can do as well as they can to get the job done this season.
Well, we say all we want our players to do is fight. And I definitely think last game the players did fight. I think they all put a shift in. They did fight against Forest. There was loads of yellow cards, and we always say, at least put tackles in to get a yellow card. We put tackles in. We got 2 goals. We was unlucky. They got the goal at the end to make it 2-2. And I just think it's looking a lot better, and it's looking a bit more like the old Everton fight for the shirt and show you what. I think Dyche has got a lot to do with that. Andy Dyche is old school. He likes he's got that. If you watch him as a footballer back in the day, he's an old school player. And I'm happy. I'm not happy with the situation, but I'm happy on what we've got to try and stay up.
Positive.
Yeah, let's just stay positive, win the next game, and let's stay up. And if we do stay up, like I said, there's loads of good things. We'll be buzzing. We can do it one more time. We did it last time. One game, Crystal Palace game, brought a 2-0 back back to 3-2 to stay up. If we can do that, we can freaking stay up this season. So everyone stay positive. Paul, anything else to say before we end this?
No, have a good week, everyone, and look forward to the Saturday.
Yeah, 100%. And we've got in the headphones now, but we're just trying to sort it out before the stream. We haven't got them working properly yet, but we'll get the headphones working, and we're trying to boost
Wi-Fi booster this week.
Yeah.
All right,
have you got a Wi-Fi booster as well? So
we'll get one this week, so I'll be sound for Friday.
So no glitch as well. We're just starting off, and I'll get the backgrounds on this and start getting it all right for you. But we're just seeing whether we like it, and I've managed to get some good stuff on at the start. And I'm starting to feel confident. I'm liking it. It's a good little tool. It's just two Everton fans talking to each other that you can listen in on and you share your thoughts on as well. And it's nothing more. It's just a nice little Everton fan get together. Yeah. So, I'm buzzing with it. Love it.
Super.
All right. I'll drop the intro and see you later, everyone. Take care. Have a good one, and we'll be back. Don't worry.